Hey everyone, it's Carly Hall, and today's video is about all things vinyl. So before we get started, for those of you that are new to crafting, vinyl is a material. It's a plastic material that has a sticky adhesive on the back. So when you unroll it, it's basically just a big colored sticker that you can then use your cutting machine and cut out intricate designs and apply them onto any surface. So the fun thing about vinyl is that you can make really intricate cuts and then apply them to whatever surface you'd like. The problem that I didn't know when I first started crafting was that there is a thing called transfer tape. When you're using adhesive vinyl, you probably will need transfer tape as well, unless your image is just a singular image like a big heart or something like that. But even so, transfer tape will become your best friend. So I'm gonna walk you through how to cut, weed, and then apply your vinyl the foolproof way. So I'm gonna use the Hinge method, and I know I've been talking about the Hinge method for a long time, so I will reveal every tip and trick I have while we're going through this video. So let's get started in Design Space. In Design Space, I brought in this image. I actually purchased it from the Silhouette America design store, and I'll link to the video where I teach you how to do that and download this exact image. I resized it to be 3.5 inches wide by 3 inches tall, and now I'm ready to cut it. On your map preview screen, you'll want to make sure everything is where you want it, and then click Continue. Connect to your machine and then set your material. If you're on Maker, I'd recommend coming over here and browsing all materials. And if you're on an Explore Air 2, turn your dial to custom and then choose Browse All Materials. You can navigate to the vinyl category by clicking this drop down and then going to vinyl. Or if you know the name of the vinyl that you're using, you can also search for it. I'm using a premium vinyl, so we'll select this option here. And then click Done. Now we'll load the material on our mat and then we'll cut it. Like I mentioned, we are using Cricut's premium vinyl, the permanent glossy type, and I'm going to show you a tip. I have an entire video on how to unroll our vinyl out of this little tube that it comes in. So you pop off the cap and then you put your fingers inside the tube and you actually roll it to tighten it so that it will easily slip out of the packaging so you don't ruin your vinyl. And then I'm gonna use my paper trimmer to trim it down. And another little pro tip is that there is this handy ruler. So depending on how big your image is, I'm gonna cut mine down to be a 4-inch square. And now you have perfectly square scraps that are great for your next project. Next, place your vinyl in the upper left-hand corner of your mat and smooth it out so that there are no bubbles. To load your machine, you're going to hold the mat up against the rollers so that it's kind of pressed against them. And while still holding on, click the arrow button. Once you see the light flash on the Cricut C, click that button. Unload the mat from your machine, and then we'll remove the vinyl from the mat by flipping it over and peeling the mat away from the vinyl instead of the other way around, so that way your vinyl stays nice and flat. After you've taken your vinyl off your mat, it's time to weed it. So I have a weeding tool from Cricut, and weeding is taking the negative away from your image. So all you do is gently peel back one of the edges. And on vinyl, I do go pretty slow because your adhesive is sticky on the back. So you don't want it to come back and attach to your other letters or ruin your cut. So we'll slowly continue on and then peel away. So you can see that I did have some excess vinyl. I actually ended up shrinking down my image because I realized I measured my mug wrong. So I did recut that, and then you can just scrap this and we'll throw that away. And then now the insides of the letters I chose white, so it's white on white, but the insides of the letters will also need to be removed. So I'll work on peeling those out. Next, we'll place a piece of transfer tape over our image. So you'll just peel back at the edge. It's clear, and you can use your weeding tool to start the corner if you're struggling like I am. And then it'll lift up like that, and you'll have a clear transfer tape. I like to kind of just peel back the first little bit to reveal the adhesive, and then I just place it on my design and work it down. And then you can use your scraper tool or your fingers to smooth it out. I'll scrape it after I apply this on here. So then we'll just use our scraper tool to kind of burnish the tape on top of the vinyl. And then I also do the back side because I feel like it really does help stick it to the transfer tape. And since I ended up trimming my design down, I'm also going to trim down my transfer tape and vinyl liner so that it's a little bit easier to apply. All right, we've made it to my favorite part. So we have our transfer tape, the liner, and the vinyl is in there. You can barely see it since it's white. Bad choice. But now we're going to apply it to our mug. So you'll pick which side of the mug you want it on, and then you're going to position your vinyl. So with my vinyl, I like it to be in the center of the mug when I'm holding it up. So I kind of hold my arms out and look at it to make sure that it's where I want. And you can also set it on the surface and check it out there. So let's try positioning it with a piece of tape. So I just have a piece of blue tape, painter's tape, and I'm just gonna stick it on the surface and then check to see how it looks. You can make any micro adjustments you need at this point because your liner is still on the back of your vinyl. So if you decide that you want to measure from the handle to this side, or you want to measure this gap between here and you need to adjust it anyway, you can just pick up the painter's tape and just kind of slide it to where you need it to be, and then retape it down. Now, I'm not super fussy, but if you want to get some micro calipers, you can measure it. So it looks good to me. I'm going to transfer it on. So to transfer it, let's put something underneath to hold this up. 2 rolls of ribbon to hold my little mug up. And then I'm going to need my scissors nearby, and we're going to peel back one side of the transfer tape, and you'll want to make sure that all your letters go on to the clear portion, and then using your scissors, you're going to trim away your liner. Okay, so we're trimming away our liner. We don't need that. And now we're going to slowly push back our vinyl onto the mug. So now our transfer tape and vinyl is starting to touch the mug surface, and that will hold it in place. So we're going to peel away our little tape hinge, and you can see that this is held in place exactly where I had it taped down. Now we can flip it to the other side and peel the remainder of the liner off, and again, making sure to go slowly so that you don't lose any of your letters. And then now I'm going to push down my letters from one side to the other so that I don't create any bubbles. Okay? So now all of our letters are on. For curved surfaces like mugs, I feel like you can burnish it on a little bit better with your finger. And then give you a close-up to see what's going on here. So once all the bubbles are out, you'll just find an edge of your transfer tape, just like that, and you'll peel away. I do peel at a diagonal. I don't know if that helps, I just have always done that. And there we go. If you notice any bubbles in your letters, You can use your fingernail again or your scraper to smooth them out. And your vinyl will become more and more permanent as it sits on your surface. So the adhesive is the least permanent right now, but as it sits on your surface, the permanence will increase. Okay, that's stinking cute. So there's our mug, and you can reuse this piece of transfer tape. Since we did cut our liner, if you want to use that piece of liner, you can stick it back on, or you can stick it onto an additional piece, or even a piece of wax paper or parchment paper, something that has a little bit of wax on it. So you can save that and reuse that again. So let's take one more look at our project here. So easy to make and so even and straight. It's none of that guesswork where you're hoping that you just kind of line it up with your transfer tape and stick it on. There's no guesswork. You're lining it up with your transfer tape and then adhering it on perfectly every time. I'm noticing a couple more bubbles, but again, no need to worry, just kind of push them out. These are small letters, so it's easy to push the bubbles out, but I can't wait to use this mug. We did it! Look how cute this mug is. So that's the Hinge method. I hope you found those tips and tricks super helpful. I did forget a couple of things. So this mug is from Target. I did get it in the dollar section, Bullseye's Playground, I think they call it now, and it was $3. So snag it while you can. I know that it's seasonal, so it may disappear soon. And then I did measure it incorrectly. So this is only about 2.5 inches. So I ended up cutting my design about 2.25 tall. So I'll update that in the description as well as in the video. And then I did change the cut settings. So when I went to weed it, it weeded, but it was not as clean as I wanted. So I ended up cutting it on outdoor vinyl and I did a double cut. So I ran it through twice. After it finished cutting, I clicked the Cricut C again and then ran it through another pass. So there's that. It weeded perfectly as you saw in the video and transferred like a dream. So if you have any questions, make sure to leave them in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, make sure to like it and subscribe to my channel. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.